All right, good day, hi, and welcome. So after I don't know how many years since I last strung this thing up, it was probably 2021 or 2022. I think 2022 when Amanda and I were jamming. Uh, you, this is my. You be quiet. You be quiet. This is my cat smashing hand. If you meow one more time, that's right. That's right. You know who's boss. She's still meowing. Um, anyway, uh, she just wants to be nosy. Okay, so I cleaned up the guitar. I already got prints on it, but whatever. But that's the oiled neck. That nice rosewood. And it darkened a bit with the oil. I think I haven't put oil on that. And this guitar is now 20 years, at least 20 years old, right? So there's my new mismatched tuners. Two mismatched tuners. It's like a custom guitar now. Everything else is all original on the guitar. I'm going kitty cat crazy. Right. Yes, Missy, I hear you. I'll be down there in a second. The world does not revolve around you. Even if you think so, yes, it does not revolve around you. Don't you meow one more time or this is my cat smashing hand. I told you not to do that. And, don't defy me when I'm giving you an empty threat. Oh my God. Anyway, so I got the strings on. A little trick. Okay, I'll show you. Well, dumbass me, I ended up opening up a pack of 12-string strings. I didn't realize. When you get old, guys, I tell you, read carefully if you can. But I got these. These are 12 to 54s, a little heavier than... With acoustic guitars, I typically go with the lightest strings possible. But I wanted to try this brand. These are DARCO acoustic. They're made in Mexico. And you've got... DARCO... or DARCO? No, it'd be DACRO. Yeah, DARCO. Well, anyway, however you say it. Play more, pay less. Everybody likes to pay less. Strings will always be a value when compared to any other string within its class. Our goal is to provide you with a superb quality string at a better price than you might expect to play from other brands. I don't know, they're all kind of about the same price except for the really ridiculous stuff. Nice birds on there, almost kind of makes you think PRS or whatever. And yeah, so these are a bit heavier of a gauge than I usually put 10s on there, but this is what they had to try. $7.99, but I bought these. God, I might have bought those 5 years ago. I don't know. I go through fits where I try different brands of strings on guitars. And I mean, trust me, it takes years to do it. So, but I will say this: there's always a difference between one brand and another. Even within the same brand, different types of strings. If you want to change your tone, the strings are with acoustic guitar. The only way you can really change your tone is strings, anyway. But you can get some strings play better than others, stuff like that. At the end of the day, after they're worn in, they're all kind of the same, no matter what you pay for them. So if you're recording, I'd buy expensive strings. If you're gigging, I'd try to keep it more on the cheap side and just focus on playing really well. And finding a string that's easy to play, because some strings are really, even if they might be the same gauge, they can be kind of stiff. So these are the original pegs. These things have held up. I shouldn't say it too loud because Murphy tends to hear stuff like that. So I got to still stretch everything. But you can see how that rosewood darkened a little bit too. That looks really nice where I put the oil. I shouldn't have put a drop on there because it got like a spot. I'll work that out over time. But this guitar owes me absolutely nothing. And I'm hoping over the weekend there I got to see my cousin Butt, his band Midnight Rambler. They were playing at the Danford Carnival, and they were really good. Mostly country. Although my cousin did sneak in a little Iron Maiden riff in there. I said, "Did I hear Iron Maiden?" He goes, "No. Oh no, you did." I was like, "Yeah, I got you. Him and I, when we were kids, we pretty much got into electric guitars at around the same age, and but he's more of a bass player there now. He's got like a shorter scale Epiphone bass that he bought. and then he bought himself a Warwick Vampire. If you don't know what one of those things look like, they're a crazy looking bass. Marco Hatella, how you say his name there, from Nightwish, the ex Nightwish bass player singer. He plays them. Yeah, I guess the signature model. But anyway, yeah, I asked him if he still had it and where he got it. And he said he got it at Steve's Music in Ottawa. But Steve's Music has closed down to move locations because there's where they were right downtown was like the best spot ever. But because of, we'll say the nicest way I can say is because of socio-economic statuses of people, the crime has went through the roof. The store's been broken into. They've got homeless people sleeping on the step, so they had to move the store, which is regrettable. But I mean, it's not that I'm bashing on these people that have lifestyle problems, but I'm just saying it became an issue and they had to move. And I haven't been there for years. I mainly go to the Long and McQuaid's now just because they're more convenient for me to get to. But that said, restrung it. I am looking at buying newer acoustic guitars, but what I want to do is I'd like to have these things on the 12 string, for example. It's sort of, the tuning on it is sort of balancing out. It seems like you have to play it until the strings are really stretched, but by the time the strings are really stretched, they lose their luster and the newness. This thing, I'll tune it up, and I might tune it up again. And like once the strings are stretched and broke in and tuned, this guitar will stay in tune probably for the next 4 or 5 years. This thing is incredible. For a $400 guitar, which now is about a $700 guitar for the same damn guitar. Slightly different cosmetics on it, but as a workhorse guitar, there's no Taylor, there's no tack or Fender or Martin that will hold a candle for this thing for like ironclad. Look, I've played T3 Taylors. Now I'm not saying it's a better sounding guitar or better electronics. No, the electronics are nowhere near to those levels of guitar. But the action, this thing, even with 12s, is probably going to play like a electric guitar. I've let people play this guitar. I've set up the action, lowered the bridge. I've never had to do a neck adjustment on this guitar in 20 years. I live in Canada. That's incredible. Neck's dead straight. It's a 5-piece neck. That, like I say, as a gigging machine. I remember this guy. I'll tell you this real quick story. How much time we got here? I'll show you just how I wound my strings on. Before I do that though. Well, I'll tell you the story. Okay. I know, scatterbrain. But blame my kitty cat for distracting me. So anyway, there was this guy he was doing a jam night. He was the host. He bought a Taylor T3. This is back in the early 2000s, right? And that's a $3,500 guitar. And I played this on the same stage in the jam night. And he was so blown away by my playing that he said, when my turn came, I was lucky enough to go up on the stage twice that night at the Baseline Station in Ottawa. I don't know if it's still open, but they had the jam night. And he goes, dude, you're going back up again? I said, yeah. He goes, play my guitar. See what you think of it. And he had a guitar put aside just for jam nights. I let people use this guitar because the guitar he had was almost unplayable for the cheap guitar. So I said, no, I'll just let people play mine. That's what I bought it for. I bought it mainly for jam nights and gigging, right? And again, it's not a complete tone machine like the Taylors or the Tacks and stuff like that, the upper end guitars. No, but it sounded good enough. The pickups, the pickups sounded good enough and everything like that. It's more about the playing. When it comes to acoustic guitars, to me, it's more about the playing. People will focus on the tone very little. It's more about the playing, right? So I get up and I play this T3, and this thing was immaculate, but it had a satin finish, and I was just like, I took as much care not to sweat on it as much as possible. That same guitar 3 weeks later, I mean, that was, I warned him about that. I said, just be very careful because, with those delicate finishes like that, that's what gives you the sound, but it's also what makes the guitar vulnerable, right? And of course, 3 weeks later, it's like there's beer stains on it. It still sounded great and everything, but even the action, he had to have another setup done. Just mind you, this guy was playing 4 or 5 nights a week, and he was already taking it into because the last jam night I saw him, he didn't have that guitar. He had the other one. I let him play this. I said, yeah, just play this. I said, just see what you think of it. I know it's not going to be as nice as your Taylor. The Taylor played better than this. But like this, like I say, for the money, it's like 1/10. It was 1/10 the price. And so many people played this guitar. I've made money. This guitar owes me nothing. The only thing I've had is to replace the two tuners, and yeah, okay, the electronics did eventually after 10 years or so, short out because I dropped guitar polish on. But that said, 20 years with a guitar. Yeah. Anyway, so there we go. That's what I'll show you a little bit more about these strings in the next video.